everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show on this Thanksgiving morning. Yes, on this Thanksgiving morning, we look at MJL, the new world champion. MJL now has a new ally in William Regal. William Regal cost John Moxley the AEW title by helping MJF with the problem that MJF was going to do and why Regal stooped so low to do what he did. We'll talk about that coming up, as well as we await who's next in line for the world championship match between Ethan Page and Rick and Starks. One of these two men will meet MJF for winner is coming for the AEW title. We'll talk about that as well. Plus, too, a lot of matches as well. You see right here, the Death Triangle taking on the Elite in the best of seven series match for the AEW World Six Man Tag Team titles. Jade confronts Bow Wow. Jake Hader takes on Orange Cassidy for the All Atlantic Championship, and a lot more. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. On this Thanksgiving edition, we want to say happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and I hope you're thankful for something this day. Thank you all. All right, we got a lot to get to, so let's get started with this. William Regal, yes, your lordship, William Regal, had something to explain and to do. William Regal talked about his actions and why he cost John Moxley the AEW championship, and what does the Blackpool Combat Club go from here? William Regal doing some treacherous. Well, we knew Regal was sneaky and sinister, but he said that MJF will explain his actions next week on Dynamite. He's busy filming that movie. I think MJF filming that Von Erich movie, trying to play Lance Von Erich, who really, I mean, he really doesn't look like Lance Von Erich, and he really could play a Gino Hernandez, but he don't play that either. But hey, MJF getting the opportunity, the new world champion, not appearing on Dynamite, so to his best knowledge. But he had William Regal, who somewhat is an advisor, talk on his behalf. Regal saying that he don't have to explain nothing. John Moxley came out there trying to figure out why William Regal did what he did and told him he want to kill him or something, until Daniel Bryan came out there, tried to save Regal. Regal got spared for causing Moxley to lose the world championship, and Moxley told Regal to disappear and banish. So William Regal did that, disappear and banish. For right now, like we said, we'll hear from MJF next week on what the new world champion has to say. This tangled web between Regal and Moxley all dates back to the NXT days and stuff. But now, since Moxley don't have to go and MJF does, I mean, MJF as champion, to be honest with you, I had to wait and see. I just don't see it right now. This is just too early for me, him being a world champion. But we'll see. I'm going to be a epic fail for AEW with a flash in the pan, because he's not MJF. He's a good talker, and maybe one day he could be built into becoming world champion. But I think he's just too over his head a little bit. He needs to settle down a little bit and stuff. I just don't see it, but it's just me for my instance and stuff. Speaking of that, MJF weighing his next challenger for the world championship. Well, he'll meet at Winter is Coming. We know that Ethan Page versus Ricky Starks was one of the matches that was slated. Ricky Starks, amazing victory, and they're building the pillars and stuff, which I get, but Ricky Starks could be the next world champion one day. I could see him being a world champion. It's like The Rock in a way. Ricky Starks trying to build that momentum, build back his confidence again. So we could see that one day. Ricky Starks could be that. I could see, like I said, I hope uh, we'll see. Ricky Starks winning his match over Ethan Page at the hard fought battle over Ethan Page. Both of them could be future world champions. If I was AEW, I'd be considering that. Like MJF, okay. I just don't, you know, that's just me. But I can see Ethan Page be a world champion someday. He's cocky, he's arrogant, and they haven't gave the belt to Brian Daniel yet. So what's going on with that? So a lot going on. Or perhaps Jay Lethal. Who knows? They don't. But they gave the belt to MJF, so we'll see. MJF gonna be that cocky champion, that cowardly champion, will keep his championship at any cost. I can see Ethan Page being a world champion, being an arrogant champion one day as well. But we'll have to wait and see that. Especially like Warlow or Powerhouse House, especially Warlow down the road. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Also, too, the return of the House of Black returned back on AEW. They targeted, led their post, led who they wanted to target. They targeted Orange Cassidy and his group, the best friends. The House of Black is back and doing devastating maneuvers like they're doing like they're returning out of nowhere. The House of Black could be a devastating force. And I could see these three teams battling for the AEW Trios Championship. They got too many championships. They can be passed around like hot potato, if you ask me. You know how that be. Well, they're back. The House of Black back and better than ever before in one way or another. So they're back some way, in some fashion. With Julia Hart at their side as well. Also, too, thank God, finally, Jamie Hayter is now the official AEW Women's Champion, as there was a mutual agreement. Thunder Rosa no longer the AEW Women's Champion. Uh, Tony Storm, her reign would be known as being a Women's Champion, which they should have done in the first place. Thunder Rosa, like I said, she lost. She had dealing with an injury. I think Tony Khan got pressured in because he wanted to keep that interim stuff, which that really didn't make no sense. Let Thunder Rosa come back for the belt that she never lost. Made simple, quick, and easy, rather than doing all that interim stuff. Doing it, if she come back, she can go against Jamie Hayter, one way or another fashion. So stuff like that. It just things like that be more simple and more simplified, but some people just don't simplify it like that. But it is what it is. Hey, no, that be. But Thunder Rosa, no longer the AEW Women's Champion. Jamie Hayter is. And we told you that Tony Storm, her reign as champion, came with that too. Don't be shocked if Jamie Hayter gets if what's her name, Dr. Britt Baker gets jealous. That's gonna be coming up soon. One way or another, Dr. Britt Baker gonna get jealous and want that title. I'm gonna take Jamie Hayter to get the title one way or another. But like I said, Thunder Rosa, Tony Storm, all their reigns were official. They were officially women's champions, not interim. We thought at first. Speaking of that, well, we move on to another story. Speaking of that, the Elite came back and they were making fun of CM Punk. You see Ken Omega. Now I see what Jim Cornette's talking about. Doing a mockery right there on something, an incident that something happened, which is funny. But then again, why is you want to turn attention to bring that back up and trying to mock and tease CM Punk? It's a little bit tacky and distasteful. With Ken Omega doing that with the arm and stuff, trying to mock Ace Steel with the biting his arm and stuff, and you trying to give clarification on what happened. You just can't talk about it, but you're talking about it or giving clarification. But the Bucks and Omega back. So I think they won their match. But this feud continues on. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, they need to stop playing. I guess I get what Jim Cornette talking about. Now they need to stop playing and when they was in Chicago too. And we heard about the FCM Punk chant, so there's a lot going on with that. So stuff like that, just let it go and move on. Don't talk about it. Don't mention it. But you bring in even more attention to yourself when you do that. So plus two, Chris Jericho. The if we can find Jericho, yeah, like I said with Death Triangle. Plus they won their match at Full Gear over over the elite. The elite had to take a loss some way somehow. But also too, Chris Jericho. He went against a former winner on the channel, Ishmael Nero. Jericho won by an inch of his life. The blood splattering out. One thing about Jericho, Jericho likes to garner attention for himself and allow to put attention on himself. So Jericho wins his match. But it was kind of like a so-so AEW. Really wasn't a big deal in the AEW, but you know how that be. All right. We're gonna give you highlights on what had happened at the pay-per-view. As you see right here, Danhausen. The evil Danhausen attacked Nick Comoroto and won his match. Danhausen, that's Ricky Starks winning against Brian Cage. Danhausen won with the evilness. Jungle Boy won his match over Luchasaurus, saying that you can thank Christian and Luchasaurus for teaching him how to be a man. So Jungle Boy doing that. Jade Cargill defeated Nyla Rose to get her belt back. Nyla Rose stole her belt out of some form or fashion. It was when the Cargill dressed with Cheetah. You know how that go. So hey, the elite loss. We talked about that. So there's a lot going on. But we know next week. We know coming up this week on Rampage, FTR defend the tag team titles. They bring on tag team titles against Top Flight. They might as well turn that show into the Ring of Honor. Be honest with you. Also, choosing 6-man tag team match. The Dark Order takes on Roosh, Blade, and the Butcher. Also, too, Sting takes on Anthony Henry. So, and he or she is in action as well. So there's a lot going on. All right, they're gonna do it. We know next week MJF scheduled to slated to appear to talk about what's going on with the AEW. We'll hear from him next week on why him and Real Regal are now feuding with John Moxley. And what does this go from here? So, for me being Kendrick Dixon, so long, and thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show, and happy Thanksgiving.